How you doing there? Well, welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying up your test, Daf 19 of Masechta BavaKama. Friends, friends. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about Sroris, and then we're going to kind of finish up the first Mishnah of the second parak, and we're going to start the second Mishnah of the second parak about Shane. How does that sound? Alright, we're going to start in Daf Yud Tes Amud Aleph, 4 lines into the page. By Rav Ashi has a kasha. Yesh shino litzroris l'revia nezek. Oh, ain't shino litzroris l'revia nezek. What do you guys think? So if we say chatzi nezek tzroris, what if you do a chatzi nezek tzroris in a weird way? So meaning tzroris in general is like, I don't know, the animal's walking, and while it's walking, something gets kicked up and, breaks something. What if it kicked something? The animal kicked something. So that's Karen, right? Kicks something. It doesn't normally kick stuff, and it kicks something. And then something goes flying and breaks something. So that's like, right? So we say, shinoi. Can you have a shinoi when it comes to tzroris? In which case, maybe it wouldn't be chatzi nezek, it would be revia nezek. It would be 25%, not half. What do you guys think? So again, Rav Ashi asks, yeshino litzroris l'revia nezek olo. Is there a concept by tzroris that if you do it in a weird way, so then it will be quarter damages, not half damages? Oh, ain't shino l'tzoris l'revia nezek. Or we say, no, there's no quarter damages, only half damages. Tifshot le'mi de Rava. Well, let's try to answer this from Rava's question. By Rava, that Rava asks, yesh ha'adar l'tzoris ve'ena ha'adar l'tzoris. Yesterday we asked, by tzroris, is there muad or not? Meaning the question is, when it comes to tzroris, if it's muad, so then would it be nezek shalim? So from the fact that Rav is asking, is chatzi nezek tzroris, can it ever be nezek shalim? So then that means that we're talking about chatzi nezek and nezek shalim. Quarter nezek is out of the picture. Right? So meaning is chatzi nezek tzroris already like the kind of mishuna case? Would already be chatzi nezek? Right, like the tam equivalent, in which case there's no quarter nezek. Okay, you get it? I think. Right, meaning you're not going to have quarter and half and whole, right? You're either going to have half and whole or quarter and half. But from the fact that Rav is asking, is there half and whole, it must mean that quarter is out of the picture. Does that make sense? I hope. So again, so Tiv should let me the Rava. Let's answer it from Rava. The Rava asks, Isha adal l'tzoris or ina adal l'tzoris. Is there muad when it comes to tzoris? I.e. for nezek shalim or not? So mechlal dein shinui. It must mean that there's no sort of quarter nezek option if it's done in a weird way. So Dilma Rava imtim tzilomar kamer. But maybe Rava is saying, if you say this, then that. Kilu imtim tzilomar ain't shinui. Well, if you say that there's no quarter nezek, well then there's only half nezek. Well then, is there maybe muad? So yesh ado in ado. Can there be a muad? Can there be a nezek shalim? Teiku. So we say ichveis nicht. By the way, we're going to have a lot of ichveis nicht on this daf. A lot of ichveis nicht. By Rav Ashi has a kasha. Koyach koichu the sumchis ki koichu dami olo. Now sumchis of course says that tzroris is nezek shalim. It's not chatzi nezek. Tzroris is nezek shalim. So the shaila is, what if it's koyach koichu, right? So what if a cow is walking and it kicks up something and it breaks something? All right, so that's tzroris. But then that thing goes flying and breaks something else. So according to Sumchis, who says that tzroris is nezek shalim, like first degree tzroris is nezek shalim, what if then the first degree ends up going flying and breaks the second degree? Is the second degree also nezek shalim, just like the first degree? Or maybe the second degree is chatzi nezek? Very invigorating, exciting, refreshing question. So again, by Rav Ashi asks, koyach koicha the sumchis ki kocho dami? Is it like kocho, in which case it's nezek shalim, oichit? Oh, lo. Or maybe koach kocho is different, and it's chatzi nezek in that case. Migomer alochi umukila b'koyach koicho? Is it possible, right? We said yesterday that chatzi nezek tzroris is aloch l'Moshe misinai. Now, Sumchis says that tzroris is not chatzi nezek, it's nezek shalim. And therefore, and therefore it sounds like he doesn't have this halacha Moshe Misina about Chatzi Nezek Tzoros. But maybe Sumchis says that Koach Kocho by Tzoros is Chatzi Nezek. So if Kilu first degree Tzoros is Nezek Shalim, but maybe second degree is Chatzi Nezek, and that is where he applies the halacha Moshe Misinai. Or maybe he doesn't hold of the halacha Moshe Misina at all, and whether it's first degree, second degree, it's always going to be nezek shalim. Take a nicht. If the ox kicked, so that's Karen, it's chatzi nezek. Oh, it's a tolada of Karen. Oh, shahayu tzroris minatz mitachas rugla, or tzroris v'shibra esakelim, and it broke epis mishalim chatzi nezek. So in both of those cases, whether the ox kicks or whether it's tzoris, so it's going to be chatzi nezek. What exactly is the Mishnah saying? Is it saying if we're saying if the animal kicked, and it damaged by kicking, which is a tolad of Karen, and it's chatzi nezek? Oh, alternatively, tzoris ki or chayu mishalim chatzi nezek, or while it's just walking and minding its own business, it kicks up epis and breaks it. So that's also tzoros is chatzi nezek v'rabonani. And it's like the rabbis, that tzoros is chatzi nezek. O dilma, or perhaps, hoisim evaetes v'yizika bebiuta, or maybe what it's saying is that if it kicks, if the ox kicks something and breaks it, so then it's keren and it's chatzi nezek. It's tolad of keren, it's chatzi nezek. Oh, alternatively, tzoros machmas biut mishalim chatzi nezek, or maybe tzoros in an irregular way would be chatzi nezek, haki orche, but in its regular, meaning in an abnormal way would be chatzi nezek, but tzoros, in regular tzoros, mishalim nezek shalom would be nezek shalom uvani sumchisi. And it's taka, our Mishnah is like sumchis. So Tashma, come in here. Misefa, from the Sefer, Darsa alakli, well, if the animal stepped on a vessel, Vishibarto, and the vessel broke, but Vinafal Hashever al Kli Acher, and then a shard went flying and hit something else, Vishibro, and broke that thing, Ala Rishon Mishalim Nezek Shalim. So for the vessel that broke when the animal stepped on it, it's Nezek Shalim, because that's regal. Vala Achrin, but for the thing that went flying and broke something else, it's Nezek Chatzi Nezek. It's Chatzi Nezek. So it sounds like we're saying that in regular situation of tzoros, it's chatzi nezek. V'isumchis, and if the Mishnah is like sumchis, well then, mi'isle chatzi nezek, does sumchis hold of chatzi nezek by tzoros? No, he does not. He holds nezek shalim, so it must be that it's talking about that it's talking about a regular chatzi nezek, and it's the Rabbanon. But maybe you could suggest that when the Mishnah says that the animal stepped on a vessel and the thing went flying and broke something else, so we're saying the thing that broke from the flying thing, the tzoros is chatzi nezek. Maybe what it's saying is that when we say, so the Mishnah had said that the first thing is going to be nezek shalom and the second thing is going to be chatzi nezek. We assume that the first thing is the vessel that got stepped on, and the second thing is the thing that went flying or got broken by the thing that got flying, which is tzoros, and that's chatzi nezek. But maybe rishon la'ataza. No, maybe the first thing is nezek shalom, is the first degree tzoros. V'sheni la'ataza, and the second thing is the second degree tzoros. V'shani le'sumchis be'kocho le'koch kocho baram. And what it's saying is that sumchus actually makes a distinction. It distinguishes between koach and koach kocho. That koach would be, right, that kocho would be nezek shalom, and koach kocho would be chatzi nezek. But then, but Rav Ashi had asked earlier, koach kocho l'sumchis ki kocho dami ulav ki kocho dami. Rav Ashi had asked earlier that what's Sumchis' opinion with regard to Koach Kocho? Does he say that it's like Kocho and that it's Nezek Shalim, second degree tzoros is Nezek Shalim also? Or does he distinguish and say, no, first degree tzoros is Nezek Shalim, but second degree tzoros is Chatzi Nezek? But Tifshot Lei, well, why doesn't Rav Ashi just answer from our Mishnah? That we could say that our Mishnah is like Sumchis, and that it's saying that first degree Tzoros is Nezek Shalom, and second degree Tzoros is Chatzi Nezek, that it's not, there's a distinction. So, and for the Gemara, no, look, you're asking, bring our Mishnah, if it's like Sumchis as a proof for Rav Ashi to answer the question about Sumchis vis-a-vis Kocho Kekocho. Rav Ashi Karabana Mukila. Look, Rav Ashi holds that the Mishnah is like the rabbis. Rav Ashi does not hold that the Mishnah is like Sumchis. Therefore, he doesn't, this can't be brought as a proof for what Sumchis would hold vis-a-vis Koch Kocho, because our Mishnah, according to Rav Ashi, is not like Sumchis, it's like the Rabbanon. Uva'ila hachi. And Rav Ashi's question further up about is there a shinoi when it comes to tzroros for Revi'ah Nezek or not, is the following. Uva'ila hachi ha'isum eva'etes. In our Mishnah, when we say that the animal, the ox kicked, v'izika bebiuta, and damaged when kicking, which is a tolada of Karen. Alternatively, tzoris or chayu chatzi nezek, or a regular situation of tzoris would be chatzi nezek, according to the Chachamim. Hamachmas biut revi'ah nezek, but asks Rav Ashi the first question that we had started with today. But if it wasn't regular tzoris, if it was, the animal kicked and then something went flying, which is an abnormal tzoris, maybe that would be revi'ah nezek. V'yei shinoi, and there is shinoi for revi'ah nezek. Or dimar, perhaps if the animal kicked and damaged when it kicked, otzroris machmas biut, or maybe what it's saying is davka tzroris in an abnormal way is chatzi nezek ve'ein shinoi. With that, whether there's tzroris in a normal way or an abnormal way, it's always going to be chatzi nezek. Tekuch veis nicht. Ba'imine Reb Abba ba'mam Reb Ami. Ba'mam asked Reb Ami. Some takas say he asked Reb Chia bar Abba. Hoysum aleches b'makom she'i efshir la. If you have the animal was walking in Rishus HaYochid in a place that there were just pebbles everywhere. It was inevitable that Epis was going to go flying and there was going to be a tzroris situation. Right, so Makom She'i Efshir La Elim came in Atezes. So it was obvious that there was going to be a tzroris matzif. But what it did was uva ataveitiza, meaning memela there was going to be chatzi nezek tzoros here, that's for sure. But then it kicked something and caused tzoros. So if you say that if you do tzoros abnormally, it would be revi'ah nezek, what would you say over here? Right? So uva ataveitiza ve'izika, and it kicked something and something went flying and caused damage. What do we say? Came to eat evshirla or chayu. Do we say, look, since anyways there was going to be tzoris, so any tzoris is just considered normal in this context, and therefore it would be chatzi nezek or dilma hashtar me machmas biut kaminatza tzoris. But you could say yes, inachinami was inevitable that there was going to be tzoris, but in this particular case, the animal kicked epis and caused tzoris that way, and therefore it should be revi'ah nezek. If you say that. Teku, we say, ich weiß nicht. Ba'amine Reb Yirmiyah Reb Zera. Reb Yirmiyah asks Reb Zera, if an ox was walking in Rishus Arabim, v'itiza, and something went flying, v'izika, and it caused damage, mau. What is the halacha over there? The Karen Midamina Le? Do we say, well, since Chatzi Nezek Tzoris is Chatzi Nezek, which is like a short time by Karen, and Karen applies to Rishus Harabim, so here also there would be Chatzi Nezek Tzoris in Rishus Harabim, V'chayeves, or Dilma, Tolada de Regelu Uftura, or maybe Chatzi Nezek Tzoris is a Tolada of Regel. Right? It's just walking normally and something goes flying. And Regel is part in Rishus Harabim. So the Shaila is, by Tzroris, is it Chayiv in Rishus Harabim, like Karen, right? Both are Chatzi Nezek. Or do we say that it's like Regel, because it happens when you're just walking normally, and therefore you would be Chayiv, and therefore you'd be P'tura, Rishus Harabim. So Reb Zera answers, Mistavre Tolad de Regelu So Mistama, it's Toloda of Regel, which is normal walking kind of stuff, and therefore it'd be Potter. Hitiza b'Rishus Harabim ve'Zika b'Rishus Hayachid Ma'u. What if, right, Rabbi Yirmiyah then asks Reb Zera, what if the animal kicked up Epis in Rishus Harabim, where we just said that it would be Potter, but it went flying and it broke something in Rishus Hayachid? So what's the halacha in that case? So Amalei Akira ein kan anocha yesh kan. Well, I didn't really read that properly. Amalei Akira ein kan anocha yesh kan? Brain exploded emoji. So Reb Zera says, well, look, I had just said that if the animal is walking in Rishus Harabim and it kicks up Epis, so then there's no tzoros in Rishus Harabim because it's like regel. Now you're asking me if it kicked up Epis in Rishus Harabim and then it went flying into Rishus Hayachid, is he chayiv in that case? Because tzoros does apply to Rishus Hayachid. Well, the thing is, it got kicked up in Rishus Harabim, which means that there was no at the beginning of it, and it was in a place where he was potter in Rishus Harabim. So therefore, if there was no, right, of course we learned Masechta Shabbos, right, Akira and Anocha, right, in order to be chayiv for carrying something Rishus Harabim, there has to be an Akira or Hotzah. Rishus, there has to be an Akira in one Rishus and Anocha in another Rishus. So here also, Kilu, the Akira, right, where the item got kicked, went flying, was in Rishus Harabim, in a place where you're potter. So if there was no sort of initial obligation, so then there's no, I don't know, do I have to explain how it fits into Akira and Anocha? If there was no Akira, then there was no Anocha. It's like two sides of the same coin. If there wasn't one side, there isn't the other side. So if he's potter when it comes to Rishus Harabim, so when it goes flying to Rishus Hayachid, he's not all of a sudden going to be chayiv, because it started out in a potter state. Does that make sense? It's very technical daf. Eisvei, Reb Yirmiyah then asks a kasha to Reb Zera. If an animal was walking, veitiza, and something went flying, bein b'Rishus Hayachid, bein b'Rishus Harabim, chayiv. Whether this happens in Rishus Hayachid or it happens in Rishus Harabim, you're chayiv. Reb Zera, you just said in Rishus Harabim, you'd be potter. So my lab, veitiza b'Rishus Harabim, vizika b'Rishus Harabim. So Mistam is talking about where the animal kicks up Epis in Rishus Harabim and it goes flying and damages something in Rishus Harabim. We're saying that he's chayiv, not potter. Lo. No, it's talking about where the animal kicked up Epis in Rishus Harabim and it went flying into Rishus Hayachid, and that's why he's chayiv for tzoros. But I thought you just said yes, but in that case there's no akira, so there's no anacha. So Ibzir says, I changed my mind. If it kicks up Epis in Rishus Harabim and it goes flying to Rishus Hayachid, he will be chayiv. We're going to see a few of these cases now where he says, I changed my mind. Right, to say that if the animal kicks Epis in Rishus Harabim and it goes into Rishus Hayachid, he's chayiv. Eisvei, Reb Yirmiyah asks Reb Zera, Darsa al akli v'shibarto. Okay, our Mishnah had said that if the animal steps on a vessel and it breaks, v'nofal hashever al kliacher v'shibro, and then a shard goes flying and breaks something else and breaks it, and if it hits something else and breaks it, al arisha mishalim nezek shalim. So you have to pay nezek shalim for the vessel that broke. Al achron mishalim chatzi nezek. For the second one is chatzi nezek. Okay, v'tani Allah, we talked about it. When is this? B'Rishus Hanizak. That's only for Rishus Hanizak. About B'Rishus Harabim. But if it happens in Rishus Harabim, al rishon p'tura, p'al achron chayeves. So it'll be chayev. So Rishus Harabim al rishon p'tura. So it'll be p'tura for, if it's in Rishus Harabim, so for stepping on the vessel, it'll be potter, because regel is potter in Rishus Harabim. P'al achron chayeves, but for the tzroris, it will be chayev. And Mistamo is talking about that if the thing went the vessel broke and went flying, this all happened in Rishus Harabim, and we're saying that he's chayiv. So lo itiza b'Rishus Harabim v'zika b'Rishus Hayachid. No, Reb Zera says it's talking about where the thing went flying in Rishus Harabim, but broke the thing in Rishus Hayachid. V'amar akira ein kan anacha yesh kan. But you had said earlier, but if there's no akira, there's no anacha. How can you be chayiv? Amalei Hajibi says, look, I changed my mind. Ini, is this really so? That in Rishus Harabim there's no tzoros? For Amar Rabbi Yochanan, ein chatzi nezek chaluk. Lo l'reshus hayachid v'lo l'reshus harabim. But Rabbi Yochanan says that when it comes to chatzi nezek, whether it's chatzi nezek of Karen, whether it's chatzi nezek of Sroris, there's no differences. Ein chatzi nezek chaluk. There's no differences when it comes to chatzi nezek. Lo l'reshus hayachid v'lo l'reshus harabim. Not in reshus hayachid, not in reshus harabim. So my love, he sees a b'reshus harabim, v'zik a b'reshus harabim. So Mustama means that even by Sroris, if it got kicked up in reshus harabim and damaged in reshus harabim, chayiv. So lo, it is a b'reshus harabim, v'zik a b'reshus hayachid. No, he's chayiv if it kicks it up in reshus harabim, but it damages in reshus hayachid. But you said, if there's no akira, there's no anacha. So Amalei Hajibi says, look, I changed my mind. If it kicks something up in reshus harabim and damages in reshus hayachid, chayiv. Look, when Rabbi Yochanan says that there's no differences at all when it comes to chatzi nezek, not b'reshus hayachid, not b'reshus harabim, so then that's dafka by Karen. It wouldn't apply to chatzi. He's not talking about chatzi nezek tzroris. Yosef Rabbi Yehuda Nisiya Rabbi Shaya Akilad Rabbi Yehuda. So Rabbi Yehuda Nisiya and Rabbi Shaya were sitting on Rabbi Yehuda Nisiya's porch. Nafak Milsa B'Yinayu, and they were talking and learning. Kishkishab is Novamau. What if an ox is walking with Reshus hayachid and it tails around its tail and breaks epis? So Amalei Idach. So okay. So I guess the other one, whoever asked the question, the other one said, I don't understand why should he be chayiv? What, is he just gonna hold the tail the whole time? He can't do that. So Yachi Karen Nami name of Chazena Bekaren V'Yelech. So the asker responds, says, yeah, but you can say the same thing by Karen. What, should he just hold the horn the whole time? So Chiashta Karen lav orchehu lav orche. Yeah, but there's a difference. By Karen, it's abnormal. It's not normal it's irregular for the ox to just all of a sudden gore. But here to tail around its tail is more normal. So what's he supposed to do? Just guard it the whole time? Okay, and this is talking about, reshus harabim. Alright. So v'chi me'achar the orche ma'mi boyale. So if it's orche and it's just basically regel and reshus harabim, so what's the question? It's obviously potter. Kishkush yiseir mi boyale. Well, he's asking, what if it's like waving around its tail just a little bit too much? What happens in that case? And I guess he says, well, I don't know, what are you supposed to just hold it the whole time? Alright. By Rav Eina asks Akasha. Kishkishu ba'amoso ma'u. Great. Well, what if the ox was throwing around its penis a little bit too much and it breaks something? So do we say, well, it's like Karen lab yitzra chatokiv le hachanami loshna? Do we say, look, by Karen it sort of got excited and damaged. He also got excited and damaged. Yeah, but by Karen it intends to do damage. Here it didn't intend to do damage. Teku, ich weiß nicht. So the chickens, they walk around and break stuff. And then we said if something gets tied to the chicken, so then it's chatzi nezek. We only say chatzi nezek when the thing gets tied to the chicken, if it gets tied to the chicken on its own. But if somebody ties epis to a chicken, and then the chicken, it causes some kind of damage, so the tire of the thing onto the chicken is going to be chayiv. Niksher me'elav man chayiv. Now when we say that if the thing gets tied to the chicken itself, then it's chatzi nezek. Well, who's going to be chayiv the chatzi nezek when the thing gets tied to the chicken itself? Now, I think the assumption is that something gets tied to a chicken, and then somebody else, steps on it and gets hurt. Like steps on the thing that's tied to the chicken and gets hurt, so it's like a boar kind of situation. So if we're saying that it's the guy who owns the thing that got tied to the chicken on its own, he's going to be chayiv chatzi nezek. But echidami, what's the situation? Either atznoi, if the guy who owns the thing had stored it away properly and somehow the chicken found it, well, onusu, he didn't do anything wrong. So why should he be chayiv chatzi nezek? Should he be chayiv anything? V'i lo atznoi, and if he didn't kind of put it away, so posheu, then he's a posheu, he should be chayiv nezek shalim. El chayiv bal tarnagol. Okay, so we're saying that the owner of the chicken would be chayiv chatzi nezik. But ma'ishna kulei nezik dilo. Well, how come he's not chayiv for full damages? Well, the pasuk says that when a person digs a pit, not when an animal digs a pit, and therefore here also. So if the chicken got into got into some thing and got a thing tied to its leg, and somebody then gets hurt by it, so he didn't do it, the chicken did it. So he's potter by bor. Chatzi nezik nami. So we should say the same thing by chatzi nezik. Ish bor v'lo shor bor. That just like, he'll be off the hook for nezik shalim because he didn't dig the pit, the chicken did. So he's also off the hook for chatzi nezik. So Ella, rather, maslisim b'da'adi aduya. Rather, the Mishnah is talking about something completely different. The Mishnah is talking about when the chicken kicked up something and then it caused damage, so it's tzroros. And when Rav Huna says that when the thing happens on its own, it's chayiv. So that's talking about in general. It's talking about a different case. It's not talking about the chicken with the thing gets stuck on the leg. No, it's in general stated. Dlil hefker. So if there is some kind of hefker thing, Amar Rav Huna niksher me'elav potter. Okay, if there was some kind of thing and it just on its own got stuck to a chicken, okay, so it was hefker, it didn't belong to anybody, it got stuck on the chicken, so ksharo adam, so if it got stuck on its own, so then potter, but ksharo adam, if a person tied it, then chayiv, mishum chayiv, what's he chayiv for? Amr of huna b'menoch, mishum bora mizgalgal b'ragl adam behema, for a if the person ties the thing onto the chicken, so he's creating basically a moving boar, and it's like a boar that you put in one place and then it ends up somewhere else, and he's going to be chayiv. Okay, friends, now we get to the next Mishnah, the second Mishnah of the second parak of BavaKama Ketzah Shein Mu'edes. So let's talk about Shein, eating. Lechol saroila, that an animal is warned, is muad, to eat stuff that it eats, things that are fit to be eaten. An animal is mu'edes to eat fruits, vegetables. What if it eats like clothing? So that's going to be chatzi nezik. Now this is talking about in the Rishus Hanizak, hava b'shus rabim potter. Rishus rabim is potter because it says bir b'stei acher. It has to be davka in Rishus HaYochid, not in Rishus Harabim. Now if in Rishus Harabim the animal ate stuff and he got benefit from what he ate, so then the owner pays the what he ate. So meaning, if I understand correctly, the difference is basically what's the price of a meal, right? Meaning if the animal eats food, so meaning it makes no difference if the animal eats carrots or if the animal eats figs, which are expensive. Makes no difference, Keilu. You're not paying for the damages in Rishus Harabim. You're just paying for the fact that the animal got benefit from the fact that it's fed. So you basically just pay for that, the benefit, the fact that the animal is now fed, but it could have been fed with much cheaper stuff. So you pay that, not the actual damage. Okay. So where am I? Okay. Ketzad. Mishalemis mashenenes. What's this Mishalemis mashenenes? Achlo mitoch archava Mishalemis mashenenes. If it ate from like the middle of the street, so then you just pay for what it for what it got benefit from. Mitzide archava, but from the sides of the street, Mishalemis mashezika, you'll pay for what it damaged. And I believe the Gemara is going to explain this. Pesach achonos, if the animal ate from the entrance of a store, Mishalemis mashenenes, then the owner just pays whatever the animal got benefit from. Mitoch achonos, but from inside the store, Mishalemis mashezika, then the owner pays for the actual damage that was caused for what the animal actually ate. Tanu Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, and says the Gemara, Ashen mu'edes lechol saroila, an animal b'etzem is muad to eat things that it normally eats. Ketzad, for example, if an animal goes into Reuven's animal goes into Shimon's domain, and it eats things that are fit for it. and it drinks that were fit for it, Mishalim Nezek Shalim. So then Reuven needs to pay Nezek Shalim to Shimon for what the animal ate. Similarly, a wild animal that went into Shimon's domain, v'tarfa behema, and it tore up an animal, v'achla, and ate it, v'achla basar, and ate the meat. Mishalim Nezek Shalim. So also there it would be Nezek Shalim. Mufarish achla sorin. Now, a cow that eats barley, normally a cow eats vetch, but if a cow eats barley, which even though it's not the main staple of the cow, but a cow can eat barley, or a donkey that normally eats vetch, but it ate, a donkey that normally eats barley, but it ate vetch, v'kelev shalike kashemen, or a dog that licked up oil, v'chazer shachol chaticha shel basar, or a hog that eats a piece of meat. Okay, is that not all right? I guess what hogs don't eat like regular pieces of meat. Mishalmin nezek shalim. So in all of those cases, you pay nezek shalim because since those are meaning even though they might not necessarily be the main staples of the animals, but they can eat these things if they need to. So therefore, it would be nezek shalim. Amar Papa says, Papa ashta the Amrit committed lav orche va'achla lei aidat chak. And says Papa, look, if we're talking about things that even if it might not be their main staple, but if they can eat it if they need to, so then shmei achila is considered achila and it's going to be nezek shalim. It's going to be shein. So haishunre da'achol tamre. So if you have a cat that eats dates, v'chamra da'achil binisa, or a donkey that ate fish. Mishalim nezek shalim. So there also it would be nezek shalim. Ha'uchamer da'achol nama. Oh, there was a donkey that ate bread. Ufalse l'sala, and then also ate the basket that the bread was in. Chayve Rabbi Yehuda l'shalim nezek shalim manama. So Rabbi Yehuda required the owner to pay for the bread that was eaten. V'asal chatzi nezek, but to eat the basket was abnormal. Therefore, it's chatzi nezek. V'amai. Why should the basket be only chatzi nezek? Came to orchel mechonama or chinam lefalus sala. Well, since since a donkey eats the bread, so it makes sense that if the bread is in the basket also might get damaged. So sala, so to ochal v'adar palis. Yeah, but it was talking about a situation where the donkey first ate the bread and then afterwards it ate the basket. So that is abnormal. Like it wasn't while it was eating. Therefore, it's chatzi nezek. Ufas orche hu. Now, is it really normal for a donkey, for an animal to eat bread? For a minute, we have a contradiction. Achla pas, if it ate bread, uvasser, or meat, v'tavshil, or some cooked dish, mishalim chatzi nezek, it's chatzi nezek, not nezek shalim. Smaila behema, someone's talking about a behema. No, b'chaya, it's talking about a chaya. Chaya basu orcheu. Yeah, but we're saying that meat is not normal for it to eat, but while lions, for example, eat meat. So the matve, well, it was what was I should say? It was roasted. Animals, a lion won't eat roasted meat normally. By same alternatively, betavia, or we're talking about a deer. Deer don't eat meat; they eat grass. By same alternatively, lolim behema. Really, it is talking about actually a behema. Will be psora. And what's weird about it is not that it ate bread, but that it ate it from the table. I guess animals don't usually eat at a table. There was a goat who saw that there was a turnip on the top of a barrel. And it went and it climbed onto the barrel to get the turnip, and in the meantime it broke the barrel. So Rave made them pay for both the turnip and the barrel nezek shalim. My time. How come came the orchel mechol lifta or chinam and the saruche ulemisalik? I assume that the point is like even in Rishus Rabban, right? Meaning it's not. No, I would think that normally you wouldn't be chayiv for the barrel because. Oh no. I think maybe no. Forget about Rishus Rabban. I think the point is that it's not normal for it to like break the barrel. I think so. Therefore, it should be chatzi nezek. But because it's normal to eat the turnip, and in order to get the turnip, it has to also break the, get on the barrel, and it could cause damage. So therefore, it's chayv nezek shalim, because they're both considered kind of normal, both for the turnip and the barrel. Friends, that was the Yud Tes of Masechta BavaKama. We talked about tzoros for a while, a bunch of kind of ichvesness situations over here by tzoros. And then we got up to the second Mishnah with regard to shame. And peace out.